The limit stop adjustment is a procedure that needs to be done every 90 days. By adjusting the limit stop properly, we ensure that the correct amount of tension is put down onto the lid, the gasket, and the crossarm assembly. The tools that we need to use for the limit stop adjustment is we need a 3/16 Allen wrench and then a smaller 3/32 Allen wrench. The other things we're going to do in this procedure, it's a great time to use your spindle lube and lubricate the ball seat, thrust ball, and the spindle. First thing we're going to do is inspect the crossarm, and I'm going to separate that. I pull the release pin, hold that out, push down on the crossarm, and lift up. That separates the lid and the crossarm, and at this time I can inspect for cracking right on the sides of the lid. And if we did see the cracking start to roll around the corners of this crossarm, then it's an indication that that lid and crossarm assembly needs to be replaced. So as I look at that, we're going to lubricate with our spindle lube. We're just going to put some white spindle lube on our thrust ball. White spindle lube down here in the ball seat. This is where the tension from the spindle gets placed onto the lid. And then we're going to lubricate our locking pin and then also lubricate the spindles here. Right in there. And I work that up and down. When we lubricate the thrust ball, ball seat, and the spindle, it's a job that needs to be done every 30 days, and there is a separate document on that, but when you do the limit stop adjustment, it's a perfect time to do that. To put your crossarm back onto your lid, make sure the spindle is all the way up, pull the release pin, hold that out, lift up on the latch, and then let it snap back together. We can test it out, make sure it's caught on there, lift it up and down. Now we're ready to adjust the limit stop. And the limit stop is this little circular piece right here that screws up and down in our limit stop collar right here with the two 3/16 Allen set screws. First thing we need to do is loosen both of these set screws, one on each side. We don't have to take those all the way out. We just want to back them out about 3 turns, and this one came out. There we go. And same on this side. Okay. And we take our spindle, and we want to make sure the spindle is all the way in the raised position. Now that we have our Allen set screws loosened, we're going to lower the limit stop by taking our about 3/32 Allen wrench. And there's a little guide hole here. We can put it in to help assist it as we turn it clockwise to lower it. We're basically going to lower this as far as it goes. And that's it. Then I take my spindle, and this is where we want to get just enough tension where the lid, as you can see, it's loose right now, where the lid just starts to make contact with the fry pot rim. And to do that, I take and give my my spindle a good spin. And this is right where the lid is in contact with the fry pot rim. And from this point, I turn 3/4 of a turn. 1, 2, and 3. And we want this to line up in about the 7 o'clock position. So right about there. Then I take my limit stop, and then I turn it counterclockwise and bring it all the way flush till it meets the spindle. And then we're going to tighten our Allen set screws. Make sure it's snug. And then with your 3/16 Allen wrench, tighten the Allen set screws. Now, to ensure that the lid is in the correct position when we lock it down, we need to have the red knob match with the red knob. So our last step is we unscrew this black knob and exchange it with the red. Then next we'd want to cook a round of product, and if we saw any steam leaking out the side of the gasket, then we'd want to take this, loosen our Allen set screws, lower our limit stop, and go one more quarter of a turn, only if needed.